I'm just decluttering some photos here, and today I'm going to help you come up with a very, very easy method to get started decluttering your home and storage areas, so stay tuned. Hello, welcome to my home. If you're new here, my name is Karen, and in February of 2021, I started a really hardcore declutter of not only the main areas of my house, but also my storage areas of the attic and basement. And it has been a huge journey, but along the way, I have learned some really great lessons that can make your journey so much easier. Tip number 1, if possible, you want to declutter with a friend. If they can come and visit you during your decluttering sessions, then that would be amazing. Or maybe you can trade off between your house and theirs. If not, online support can be amazing. And I want you to know that I would love to support you if you want to let me know in the comments section what you're doing. You could also be putting before and after pictures on Instagram. I'll put my Instagram handle right here for you. And I can cheer you on over there on Instagram every time you post pictures. You can also email me. My email is in my description box, but I'll put it on the screen here as well. And I would love to cheer you on in your journey if you don't have someone who can do that for you. But it is so super motivating to get to declutter with a friend, and it provides great accountability as well. Just recently, I was able to help my daughter-in-law go through her craft closet, and we just had so much fun doing it, and it made it so much less painful. All right, Brittany, how does it feel?
It feels so good.
It looks so awesome.
It does. I would have never done it by myself.
Yay! That was fun.
Yay, yay, yay.
Tip number 2, I want you to make an appointment for yourself. I want you to decide when is the next time or the first time that you're going to start this declutter. But here is the catch, and this is the best part of the tip. I can make a whole video just on this. I want you to plan a very small, manageable amount of time that you're going to do your declutter. I'm thinking like 20 minutes to start with. Then if you find that that was just too short of a time that you really wanted to keep going, well then you could start scheduling yourself a little bit longer and a little bit longer. But to establish the habit of decluttering, I think it's super important to start with a very short amount of time. That is how good habits are formed. A lot of times it's kind of like when you start exercising and you want to go out there and join an aerobics class that's been going on for a couple of years, and they're all doing a 45-minute workout, and you want to do every single rep that they do, and then you can't move for the next week and you can't exercise. Decluttering is the same way. It's so important to take this in really small, manageable bites. And you're going to take that time, you're going to put it on your calendar with a beginning time and an end time. And you're going to time it while you're there, and there's going to be an alarm that goes off so that you know when you're done. Once you have formed your support group, once you have figured out when you're going to do your declutter, and perhaps you could find a day of the week that works best for you. Perhaps it's, say, Tuesdays, and every Tuesday from 11 to 11:20 in the morning, or from 5 p.m. to 5:20 at night, you're going to declutter. But if that doesn't work, then go ahead and pick one appointment. If you have to cancel, that's fine, but you need to reschedule. Once you have decided who your support network is going to be, and you've decided when you're going to declutter, now it's important to decide where are you going to start. If it were me, I would start in the room that bothers me the most. Think about what would lead to peace in your home. Perhaps it's the living room, perhaps it's the kitchen. And you're going to choose whatever spot in your house needs it the most. Now, when I started in February, I was actually doing a decluttering challenge that was really quite vigorous, let's just say. And turning on the camera is what got me going and kept me going. But even then, I really did start upstairs in our main house, and then I eventually moved down to the basement. Then I have some items that we're not using right now. Here is all the cleaners. Then down here, this is our bath towels, and you can see like this green one. I need to go through them and get rid of any that are ripped. The thing that is used the most up here is shower towels. So What I want is for people to be able to come right in here and to be able to reach out and grab a towel. I think that's going to keep it overall neater. So what I'm going to be doing is moving the cleaners down where the towels are, and I'm going to be moving the towels up where the cleaners are. What I'm doing first is anything that I use all the time, I'm putting to the right, anything that we always use. Anything that's leaving, I'm throwing in a box on the floor. And now you're down here in my basement. So this is how you know you're a really close friend. I have brought you down to the basement. Once you have chosen your spot, what I want you to do is, if you're, let's say you chose the living room, I don't want you decluttering the entire living room. You can't declutter a living room in 20 minutes. So you're going to take one little spot and you're going to do that little spot and then go to the next little spot. And each time you make an appointment, you're going to continue through that room until that room is done. I already mentioned how my daughter-in-law and I did her craft closet. She didn't have really a lot of clutter, and that was the one space inside her house that really needed to be tackled and that was really bothering her. So that was the perfect place to start. Tip number 4 is how you prepare. You want to make sure that you have everything you need to go ahead and declutter. So first of all, you're going to need a garbage bag or a box that garbage is going to go into. Then you're also going to need another box for anything that you plan to donate or sell. Thirdly, you need a box for the things that you plan to keep. One little note about selling things. Selling things can be super challenging. You want to decide where you're going to sell this stuff and how and when it's going to happen. And my suggestion is, if it can happen within a week or two, you might want to consider donating, because otherwise you're just going to be moving it from one spot to the other and keeping it until it sells. So let's just say, for example, that you decided to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. I would get it posted and then I would give it like a week. And if it hasn't sold in a week, 2 tops, then I would seriously consider donating. Usually if something's going to go, it goes right away. For me personally, having my home decluttered became more important to me than making the money, and I'm really not that great at selling things anyway. I didn't want to wait for a yard sale to roll around to have good weather for yard selling, so I opted to donate all of the things that I was getting rid of. And it was actually quite satisfying. I really enjoyed picturing who was going to use my item, who was going to be blessed by it. To get rid of everything, I just take this box to Goodwill with all of it in here. Wouldn't that make some little kids so happy? Maybe, you know, there's a mom out there who can't really afford presents for her kid. I like to think of that way. And she comes and sees this at Goodwill, and now she can afford something really nice for her child. I would picture someone going in there who can't afford what I have, but because I've kept good care of my things, then they were able to buy it at a price that they could afford. And it really brought me great satisfaction. Another option is to donate it to someone who might be having a fundraiser. Maybe you have a friend who's going to be going on a missions trip or doing an international adoption, and you can go ahead and give them your things that they might sell. So you have your garbage bag or box for garbage, you have your box for donation or sell, and then you have your box for keeping. And I would also suggest, if you can afford it, to go ahead and get clear plastic boxes with a snap lid, because it's wonderful to be able to see through them. And you're going to have to store these things if they don't fit in your normal house living space. I mean, obviously the best thing is that it fits in a closet or a normal space, and as you go about decluttering, you're going to be able to put these in your main house. But if you're like me and you hate to see things around, I don't even like to have my DVDs in the living room. So you might need to actually store some things, and if you are going to be buying storage anyway, I would strongly suggest clear plastic boxes that you can see through, and then you can also label them, of course, so that you don't forget what is in them, and it will help you later when you go back and reorganize once you have gone through all of your spaces and done your decluttering. Besides all the containers, you want to make sure you have your phone with you. So before you even start, you're going to want to take pictures, before pictures and after pictures, because as one of our friends here in the comments so wisely pointed out, we quickly forget all that we have accomplished, and we just see the mess in front of us, and it is very discouraging. But if you could take before and after pictures, even if you don't share them with anyone, it's going to encourage you later on when you can be flipping through your phone and seeing what you have done so far. In fact, if you'd be willing, I would love to see your before and after pictures. You can let me see them on Instagram by tagging me there, or you can send them directly to me in my email. And I will just tell you, I never show somebody else's declutter unless they give me permission. So you're not going on my YouTube channel unless you've specifically asked me to share that with our other friends here. And on Instagram, since you're tagging me, please let me know if you don't want those shared, because it would be wonderful for me to get to at least share those in my Instagram story. So just let me know if you put them on Instagram and you don't want me to share it in my stories. For my fifth tip, I really want to share with you the easy way that I did my decluttering that made it a lot less painful. And I call it peeling the onion. You know, when you peel an onion, you have the outer layer and you can go in and peel each layer until you get to that little core. And decluttering is so much the same way. So you've gone down there, you made your appointment, you have taken your pictures so that you have your before pictures. Now, here's what I want you to do to actually do the declutter. The first thing you're going to do is to go through the small area that you have chosen to declutter and get rid of all of the things you know for sure are trash and get them in a trash bag or box. And then next, you're going to go through the things that are super easy to get rid of. You haven't used them in forever. You know no one is going to use them again, and you're going to be putting those right in the donation or sell box. Once you've done that, now it's time to make the tougher decisions on the other things that you're tempted to keep. And you're going to have to really be hard on yourself and say, do I have space in my life for these things? And we're going to talk about some of this stuff in later videos. Now, I know one thing that can be very hard is you're going to run into a lot of items that don't belong to you. They belong to someone else in the house. So if you have kids that are old enough to have a phone, and of course, if your spouse has a phone, then I suggest go ahead, take a picture of those things, and right then, while you're decluttering, text them the picture with just the simple words, do you want this? And if they say no, you can get rid of it. If they say they want it, then the next question would be, where would you like me to put it? Because obviously, if your living room is overflowing with stuff, or your kitchen or whatever room it is, that's not the place that they're going to keep it, and they need to make that decision on where it's going to go. Now, of course, when it's your spouse, it's a little bit harder because there's a lot more give and take that has to happen there. And so my suggestion would be, when it comes to your spouse, if he doesn't want to move it from the room that it's in, now it's time that you'll eventually come up with some organization and storage solutions that will keep it neat and tidy, but still honor his desire to keep it where it is. When it comes to your kids, you know, I do store things for my kids who have grown and gone if they're living in a place that's just too small for those things, and I know they're going to use them when they have a house someday. But they are boxed, labeled with their name on it, and in storage areas in my basement on a shelf, so that whenever it's time for them to take them, we can just grab them off the shelf, put it in a car or truck, and off it goes to their house. But it's a temporary thing. Later, I'm going to have a video on sentimental things because I think that's probably the hardest thing to declutter. But just know, especially when it's someone you love who has passed, that you have to give yourself time to grieve. And sometimes that means holding on to something while you do that work. And I understand that might not be the most popular decluttering viewpoint, but I really think when it comes to loss, you really need to be gentle with yourself. And we're going to talk about some of those solutions in a later video. But for now, we want to just go through, get rid of the trash, get rid of the stuff that's easy, and then go through the tough things and make a decision on whether they can go now or whether it has to wait and that they need to be boxed up and stored. Or even better, perhaps they're just misplaced and there is a place that they could go where they're supposed to be. My sixth tip is, now that you've done your first session, your 20 minutes, you're going to make a follow-up appointment. But it's not an appointment to declutter, as tempting as that is to say. No, where's the trash going? Can you quickly put the trash bag or box with the rest of your household trash? If not, when is that stuff going to go? When are you going to take your things that are being donated to donation, wherever it is they're going? You want to make sure to write an appointment on your calendar of when that stuff is going to go. And then for the stuff that you might be selling, when is it going to be listed and where? And to be dating, when is it going to leave if it doesn't sell? So you want to make those follow-up appointments to get rid of the things that you have decluttered, because trust me, if you don't, then they end up sitting in a pile, and now all you've done is made yourself another pile, and assuming you're even going to remember what you were going to do with it later on. So it's super important to have a plan to get this stuff actually out of the house. And I can tell you that sometimes I have just gone ahead and put it in the van if I knew something was going to donation. Well, don't you know, I forgot about it, and then I go to pick up my groceries. I open up the hatch, and that spot I was supposed to put groceries is full to the brim with things that needed to go to donation. So it's very important that you are putting that right down in your calendar and making an appointment on when is that stuff leaving the house. And then it's your decision. You could either make a follow-up appointment now for your next declutter, or you could wait until that first batch is out of the house, and then as soon as it's out, now you're making your next appointment to start on that next little piece. And I'm telling you, this is the way to get it done over time without burnout. Yes, it feels like it takes longer, but burning out and giving up and never doing it takes a heck of a lot longer. So I seriously implore you to just take it in small bites, and I promise you're going to be so shocked at how this goes. Now, I am at a point where I have done all of the macro decluttering. You know, I've gotten rid of the trash, I've gotten rid of the easy stuff, and now it's time for me to go through these small areas. So I'm going through these pictures, I'm picking out ones that I'm going to be giving to the kids, I'm picking out ones that were friends that we don't see anymore that I can get rid of. Things like a Christmas tree that who even remembers this Christmas tree? There's no people in it. Scenery, just different pictures that were overexposed and I'm going through all my photos. So once you've done all of the big stuff, it just gets so much easier and not so overwhelming to just take these smaller projects that feel big, but it's small because I'm just going to do 20 minutes to a half an hour each time, and it's going to get done when it gets done. For my last tip, number 7, is to plan yourself a celebration, and do not wait until you're done to plan your celebration. Look at what you have. Now, some people might have just the TV stand, the end tables, a bookshelf in the living room that they need to declutter. Other people might have boxes and boxes of things that are piled and you can barely sit down. So you have to plan. Look at your space and how much you have to declutter and start planning. I wonder when I'm going to need a celebration. If you've got stacks of boxes, one stack of boxes, or maybe after one session of decluttering, and you need to plan yourself a little celebration. And I would love it if you would share in the comments section below what would be a good celebration for someone to do along the way that will help them toward decluttering. So of course we don't want to buy anything necessarily and bring it into the house unless perhaps it's flowers, because that's more of a consumable. It's not going to last forever, but maybe it's a night out. Maybe it's a Netflix movie with your husband and some popcorn. But try to think, what is something you can do to celebrate, and leave it in the comments section below. I'd also love it if you would leave in the comments section below any tips that you have. I know a lot of you here are very seasoned at decluttering and you can help the others. So leave your best tips in the comments section below. Hit the like button if this is something that you would like to see me do more of, and I'm going to leave all of my decluttering playlists in the description box below. And boy, do I have a ton of decluttering videos, and I would love to see you there. Please comment when you watch. I'd love to chat with you about those videos. I'm also going to leave my attic playlist up here for you to click on and keep on watching. And YouTube has also chosen a video that they think that you would enjoy as well, based on the other videos that you tend to watch. I've had a lot of people reaching out and asking about my knee injury. If you're new to my channel, I fell down in an airport. My knee just buckled and it went out from under me. I had been working really hard that week and I have arthritis in my knees, which I did not know. And it completely buckled on me, and again later in the week. And unfortunately, the news from my MRI is not good. I do have a ruptured ACL and a torn MCL and meniscus. My meniscus. Is that right? Is that a word? I don't know. I tore all of the things. So I've got a bit of a long journey before I'm going to be heading down the basement stairs, but I think this is a good time to just kind of stop and regroup and really think about all the things that I've learned that I can help you with and put it in a nutshell. And I also am going to be doing more of my photo decluttering, paper decluttering. We're going to do sentimental items and things that my family can be bringing up the stairs for me. So stay tuned. More decluttering videos are definitely coming even before I'm recovered. And then it's going to be so much easier when I'm ready to head down the stairs.